So here's something for you. There are two ways to swing a golf club if you are a senior golfer. Two ways that I recommend, but which is right for you? Well, I'm going to show you the differences and how to determine which one you should practice and test out to get the most out of your golf game, to get the longest distances with the least amount of effort specific to you. Let's find out. So I think what I'm going to do first is go over the first swing that's probably the most common that you're seeing from your coaches or from online. And I have done videos similar, so I just want to refine it a little bit and help you understand to choose, basically. So the first kind of effortless senior swing, the concept is to allow the club to really swing itself. Okay, and I prefer this concept as a general rule for every shot, not just for seniors, because we really do want to feel the weight of the club. Okay, the more we can swing the weight, and a lovely sort of feeling is like picturing like a seesaw. Okay, a seesaw or a swing, like a kid on a swing, just like this, nice and smooth that way. Okay, no rush, just nice and smooth. But one of the key components is to, get as much rotation as possible. Now, there are so many downsides to this, and we've got a video that covers that, and you can check it out after this. But there are benefits as well, because it's going to help us get behind the ball, especially with a driver. That's kind of a good thing. It's going to help that angle of attack be a little bit shallower. But the key thing is we want the hands to work very effortlessly, to feel the club feeling heavy. Okay, the feeling with this is we want to be able to turn the hips to get behind. We want to be able to wind up necessarily to get behind, and to just allow the arms to sort of flow along the pivot here. Okay, and yes, that is certainly going to help our backswing to get behind the ball. But the challenge that many of you have, which is the downside here, is it's kind of a long way to get back to the ball. Because if we are all the way rotated, I'm exaggerating a little bit, our bodies have to rotate and spin, I mean not spin, but sort of rotate through, and we have to fire those hands very quickly, okay? If we don't, we end up just dumping into the ball. And the downside is if you're too passive with the legs, okay? Because yes, we want it to just be hands and arms, but you also don't want to be so passive with the legs that you're lagging behind, that you're just flipping the club. We still need to be able to get through and that belt buckle through. So you have to test this out to see what kind of strikes you're getting by turning the foot out, by getting behind the ball, and allowing the club to hinge and rehinge with not too much force or effort, and just see where your shots go. Okay, now who's that for? Well, it can generally be if you're an upper dominant sort of player and you don't have any issues with your left side, with your knee, with your hip or something, that you're able to get through the ball pretty comfortably. But on the backswing, if you're feeling a bit of resistance and you can't sort of feel like you're completing it enough. So how do you know if it's going to work? You've got to test it out. Try and get a bit more of a rotation on the backswing. Perhaps strengthen up your grip a bit to allow that club to rotate through, to get that sort of acceleration through the ball this way. Okay? Now observe how your finish is, that you're not hanging back too much. You've got to observe where you're finishing to see what things are working for you on the way back. Because if you find that you're kind of hitting shots fat or thinning or even coming over the top quite a lot to compensate, okay? What I mean by that is we're so far around here, we can't fire those, open up those hips enough to allow that club to deliver. We can get a bit stuck here, and then we're using either the hands or the upper body that way. Neither is going to be perfect for consistent, effortless strikes. So it might be good for the backswing, but it's not as good to the through swing. That's pretty much it. Now I'm just going to hit one here to sort of demonstrate a little bit that swing. I'm closing my stance, I'm closing my hips a little bit. I've got the hands sort of forward here, and you know that the path is going to be inside and releasing through that way. So I'm getting behind the ball, I'm allowing everything to sort of turn, to sort of wind up this way, and more hands and release. Okay? There's that swing there. Kind of got a high looping draw on it. Perfectly happy. Let's find out what the other one is. On to the next one. This is sort of opposite to the previous sort of wind up and release swing that we were just doing, because it's perfect for those who perhaps have a bit more tightness in the lead side, whether it's hips, whether it's knees, ankles, whatever it might be. If you find that you struggle to kind of open up because you're told to open up all the time or fire the hips, your body might not be able to do it as quickly as you'd like or as it used to, and you're wondering why crap shots are happening. I'm going to show you an easy fix. This swing is, you know, it's short, it's steep, and it's open. They kind of sound terrible things, but when you blend them together in the correct sort of manner and the understanding, you're gold. As I said, we don't want too much, you know, if we've got tightness in the knees, the hips, and they just don't move quite as well, because so many bad golf shots, in essence, happen because the lower body is stalling. And you're trying to sort of get open, but you can't. You just sort of end up flipping it this way, all right? Or losing balance that way. There is a wonderful little trick, and there's 3 things that you have to do in this sort of element, all right? First of all, which is perhaps the most important, is to stand open, okay? That doesn't mean that we are standing open like aiming left here, okay? It means that we are just pulling the left foot back and turning the left toes open. A bit like Trevino. We are still pretty square with the chest to our target line and with the hips. They're going to be open ever so slightly. But what we're going to do from here is, the reason why it works so well, because we can load up this swing without having to make a big, long movement. So we want to move those feet back a couple of inches. This is exceptional because even if you did nothing else and just tried your normal swing, notice through the ball I am open now. So by opening those feet up, automatically, without having to do anything, I have now cleared myself out the way and allowed that release to happen with a lot less effort, okay? If I just sort of bump that back and don't sort of open up anymore, I am stuck. You see that restriction? You can almost hear it in my voice as well. But I pull it back, I can get through the ball. It's a lot easier. And the next thing, we are going to work on the sort of takeaway and backswing. We don't want to try and get such a big rotation here. This is almost just allowing the club to flow a little bit, but the checkpoint I want you to have is the elbow pointing down towards, like in between the feet here and the ball, because we want the shaft to be there. Why? Because that's going to help the shorter swing. If we roll the hands this way, we are going to just sort of come over the top and be stuck. So we're trying to exaggerate this feeling. We're not trying to pick the hands up. We are allowing the width still, but we're allowing the weight of the club and the wrist to be supple, to be a bit steeper. And then from there, the only goal I have is to open up, and the club will shallow just a little bit, and then we can release through. Okay, it's a very different sensation to the last one, but again, you've just got to test it out. Remember those little checkpoints, pick the club up, nice and short, and then just open up through and accelerate and extend the arms. Same feel, soft wrist, open stance, pick it up, swing through. Such a short, effortless swing, but still a fantastic result. Now, I didn't go into real detail on either of those swings because we've covered it in other videos, and in the new series that's coming out, the new program, we are going in depth to really help you perfect one of those swings, but we're helping you to find exactly which is the right one for you. In the meantime, let me know if you'd like this video, and click the link below, because we've got a golf journey that you can choose that is specific to you and what you want to work on right now, and it's free. See you next time.